What are you hearing from the White House in terms of how they navigate the relationship with China and use it to help affect the situation in North Korea?
It's a great question. I got 3 points for you. First and foremost, North Korea's top economic partner is China. More than 80% of all exports and imports come from China. The second point I would raise is that it was just the other week that UN Ambassador Nikki Haley from the United States, of course, had organized with all of the global counterparts on the UN Security Council a nearly unanimous vote with Russia, with China as well, for having more than $1 billion in sanctions against North Korea. That's a clear sign that they hope to economically isolate them. But the third point, and this is where it gets interesting, is that when you look at China and what they want out of North Korea, they have an incentive to maintain the geopolitical status quo with this 33-year-old dictator, Kim Jong-un, from North Korea, by maintaining instability in the region without, of course, allowing North Korea to have a nuclear weapon. Now, when you look at markets, when you look at investors, when you look at all of the economic indicators that we've seen from last week and over into through this weekend, it seems that there's less of a threat now, particularly since the generals on the Sunday shows have downplayed the risk of there being any type of war between the U.S. and North Korea. But China really is the only way, economically speaking, that can pressure North Korea to get rid of its nuclear ambitions.
All right, Kevin, you did a great job of painting why the U.S. is putting forth this effort now. Sarah, from where you stand, what do we know about the Chinese reaction to this? Obviously, Chinese leadership has a lot on its hands as well, dealing with North Korea, dealing with the U.S.'s requests, and of course, preparing for their own party Congress in the fall.
So China's actually been kind of kept a cooperative tone going, despite some strong language from Trump about punishing them for trade or for resisting cooperation in North Korea. So we've seen that kind of change today in an editorial in state-run media. They said, you know, if this IP investigation goes ahead, it would do more harm than good. A trade war doesn't help anyone, and they would rather, you know, work through negotiations. So what will be interesting is to see China's reaction. As I just said, this IP investigation by the U.S. government could take a year or longer. China could just decide to retaliate on its own and to come up with a much stronger reaction. We don't know that. That isn't necessarily the signs that we're seeing so far, but it might start something bigger quicker if it's seen as a very aggressive action.